Y'all, it's your boy Proverbs in the building, and you know how it do, bro. We gonna get down. This was supposed to be a 95 overall reaction video and making my rebirth build, yada yada, you know, the same shit everybody be posting, but instead I decided to do something different and segue. This is a what 2K20 needs to do in order to be successful. Now, tweets like the one up on the screen right now, bruh, these are just small-minded tweets where people are telling 2K to literally copy and paste the game over and just call it 2K20 and saying that Mike Wang has such a simple job. Bro, those are such small-minded comments, bro, and such ignorant comments. It pisses me off, and it made me actually make this video because, bro, Mike Wang's job is so incredibly hard because he has to balance listening to what the community wants with not compromising 2K's pockets. And with that being said, here are literally 5 things that 2K can do that won't compromise their pockets, but will literally make 2K20 the top 2K of all time. Number 1, park affiliations / a neighborhood load-in. Now, what I mean by this, guys, I mean that, like, you load into the neighborhood. We keep the current neighborhood because the neighborhood is a great concept, just executed poorly both times. It was executed a little better in 19, but it wasn't executed the way it should have been in both 18 and 19. 18, I don't even want to get started on 18. 18 was a trash game altogether. But 19, the neighborhood was executed a little bit better with things being actually closer together. You didn't have to run around this huge land world to get wherever you wanted to go. But they should have a neighborhood load in where you load in and you have to go to swag. You can go to swags, you can go to the practice facility, you can go to all these places, but the neighborhood isn't actually where you play the game. And now when you load into the neighborhood, you could get Gatorade, you could buy boost, you could do all these different things that you would do typically on 2K19 right now, but you wouldn't be playing your typical games. To play your typical games, you would have to choose an affiliation, whether it be Rivet, Sunset, Old Town, or new affiliations that they actually, you know, put into 2K20. You would have to choose one of those and you would have to load into that given park. And then from there, you would be able to switch parks just as you were able to in 17, 16, etc. So that would be a huge compromise between, you know, what 2K clearly wants, the neighborhood, because they keep implementing it over and over, even though the community has lashed out at the idea of having a neighborhood, and what the community wants, which is park affiliations. That this is what everybody wants. Everyone wants this sort of nostalgic effect. And let's see how the community reacts to you know, people actually having park affiliations again. Because I remember I've seen a lot of tweets on Twitter. People are like, no one ever said 2K16 was trash. Well, here are some clips of people literally saying 2K16 was trash.
This year, if you're safe, you're a small forward. Your dribbling is garbage. You can't do nothing, man. You can't do nothing at all. Everything you get ripped. You can't even dribble for a long time. You get ripped. Say if you're a point guard, same as well. Since they added the patch 6, they took out speed boosting, which made it even worse. Point guards can't really do. Your dribbling sucks. Basically, it sucks completely. And the shots, the my park shots are absolutely trash. You can miss a green light for the win. You can miss a green light. It'll be tied 19-19 for the win. You can miss it. But say if you go up to the court and run and shoot a fadeaway red light 3 for the win, you'll make that. Or a contested 3-pointer for the win, you'll wind up making that. It makes no sense at all. That's a big reason why people hate that like so much, because the shots and the dribbling. That's a big reason.
Dead-eye animations go in more than open shots? What? Fadeaway threes? What? How long have people been crying, complaining, and bitching about fadeaway threes? But they're still in the fucking game. You want to do all this shit to this fucking game. You want to ban people for this and that, but you don't want to fix contested shots? You know how that ruins the experience of a fucking user? Park cards? Who the fuck wants park cards? Bums? We know why. I know why you're using it. Money scheme. Good job, man. Because you know, when people start getting all competitive and stuff, and they activate a park card, they're gonna make sure they have good park cards. Then everyone has good park cards, and everyone just keeps using them on each other because they're in the game. And people are gonna abuse them. Good job, 2K. Ripping off your customer again. Fucking idiots.
Bruh, so those are some clips of people saying 2K16 was trash. So like this idea that no one ever criticized 2K16 has to stop, bruh. People literally hounded 2K16 when the game was out. Every 2K ends up being criticized. That's just the way it goes, bruh. People always have something to say about the game, even if it puts them on and ends up changing their life. So people always are gonna have something to say about the game, whether it be microtransactions, gameplay mechanics, or whatever, bro. People are always gonna have something to say. But the next thing, this is easy, bro. This is park rewards / my career rewards. Now, everyone literally wants the old park rep system. People want to be hitting Legend 3 or Superstar 3. People want to have that old nostalgic feeling where they're hitting Superstar 3 and they're getting mascots, or they're hitting Legend 3 and they're getting mascots, or they're hitting Superstar 5 and they're getting jetpacks. Shit like that, or it's Superstar 4 and they're getting a skateboard. Like, people want to have that old feeling. So in order to balance this out and compromise what, 2K wants, which is clearly this road to 99 horse shit that they keep implementing, and what the community wants, which is park affiliations and this old rep system, 2K should literally implement 2 sets of rewards. Now, Duke Dennis, credit to him, he actually posted this idea, and this is a perfect idea. I really love this idea now because it literally gives the My Career heads an incentive to play My Career, and then it gives the park grinders an incentive to play competitive park. It actually encourages competition between, the players, and it encourages competitions on both sides, not just one side. Because right now, what you're doing with this road to 99 is you're saying, yo, who can play the most My Career for the longest without sleep, and who can be the biggest no life? And in doing so, bruh, you're literally shutting out all the park competition, bruh. You literally are just shutting out all the park competition. And with that, you have amateurs running their asses off, bruh. And it's just crazy. We literally need to bring competition back into 2K. That's what drives the park community, competition. We have 2K YouTubers competing at the highest level, posting competitive games that, are back and forth, obviously friendly, but are competitive because people want to win. And there's an incentive to go along with that, which are these rewards. Now, some rewards can be shared, like let's say mascots. If you hit 98 overall in My Career, you would get mascots. Or if you hit Superstar 3 in Park, you would get mascots. So some of these rewards can be shared. So it incentivizes you to pick one grind or the other. So, you can still get some of these rewards. It doesn't pigeonhole you into one single grind, because you still want to get mascots, right? But you can do it in 2 different ways. So this is a huge compromise, and I think 2K would be foolish not to implement this, or at least think about implementing something similar to it, and at least think about the idea of having 2 sets of rewards. Now, the third thing, I think this might be controversial, but I think single archetypes. Now, single archetypes really, really, really allowed players to either, be fixated on doing one thing and play their role. Now, a lot of people don't like this because they want the inside-outside balance, because that prevents bailouts. Now, I would say yes, but the inside-outside balanced way of doing things in 2K16 really, really, really is competitive. It's for a lot of competitive players, and it completely destroys all casual 2K gamers. And you guys have to take that community into account, because this is an actual community that exists. There are people who want to hop on the game and play it casually. So the people who want to play it casually, they can create these single archetype builds. And this is the biggest compromise between double archetypes and an inside-outside balance, because it's halfway. You get to do one thing, and it doesn't allow for these crazy bailouts that we have in 18 and 19 with this double archetype system. And I know people who are criticizing the double archetype system, they were the same ones supporting the double archetype system when Mike Wang proposed it back in 17. People were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a playmaking sharpshooter, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make a playmaking stretch who can dribble and shoot threes from half. They're the same ones supporting it and now criticizing it. So I think we need to go back to the single archetype system. But inside-outside balance would work, but you just have to take into account how much that's gonna affect the casual gaming community for Park. Now the fourth thing, is it the fourth thing? Yeah, this is the fourth thing. The fourth thing is 2K16 defensive mechanics, bro. We need this back, bro. 2K16 was goated defensively because there was actually a skill gap to play defense, and you weren't getting bailed out a lot of the times on like you actually had to stick your man, bro. And there wasn't a lot of this weird gliding shit that there is now on 19, and there was on 17. There was a lot of defensive gliding on 17, I remember, and I can't even bring up 18. Shit was so trash, but there was a lot of gliding, and I think the 2K16 mechanics were probably the best defensively. I didn't play 15, so I wouldn't really know, but 2K16 mechanics were, from what I remember, the best defensive mechanics, and I think 2K would be silly to implement something that isn't at least similar or like in line with what system they implemented for 2K16, because those mechanics were pretty great defensively, and I think it improved the skill gap a lot, and that's what people want. People want a game that actually requires you to be good and not just have a bunch of bailing out amateur ones shooting fucking limitless range threes with a playmaking slasher. Now, the last thing. This is the last thing, bro. The last thing is 2K17 dribbling mechanics. Now, 2K17 to me was probably the hardest game to dribble on, just because of how, like, I don't know, you had to execute the controls and execute the dribble moves with such precision. It was actually like pretty difficult to dribble on, but and combo up. But like 2K17, I actually love the dribbling mechanics. They were actually really cool. Once you got it down, 2K17 was great to dribble on, and you had complete control over your player. And I think this is what 2K20 really needs to do. They need to go back to this dribbling style, because 2K19's dribbling style, I think it's okay, but it's sort of weird. And 2K16, there's a lot of this like hop, step, cheese, and there's a lot of this like this weird shit. And I think 2K17, with the complete control over your player on the offensive end when it comes to dribbling, I think it was a great game for dribbling and actually, creating a skill gap on the offensive end, because we need, in order to have a good game in the park, we need a game that has a skill gap both offensively and defensively. And implementing these different mechanics from these different games into 2K20 could potentially help 2K20 be one of the best 2Ks. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment sections below, whether you guys disagree, whether you guys agree. Drop a thumbs up on the video. Let me know some of your thoughts. What do you think should be a 2K20? What do you think would help it be the best 2K? Because it's all about community feedback. At this point, Mike Wang is literally listening to community feedback, trying to gather it up and build the game in the best way possible. So what do you guys think? Make sure you drop a thumbs up if you're new to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. Hey, turn on the notifications. If y'all new, it's your boy Proverbs. We out, y'all.